Welcome to the Veronica Edwards Show, where we have fun, financial conversations that everyone listening can apply to their personal and professional life. I'm your host, Veronica Edwards, CPA, and we are back season 6, completely independent, and this is our first episode in 2026. So thank you guys, V-Team, so much for supporting us. We are in the back half of season 6, which is it's been amazing. So we're getting close to 100 YouTube subscribers. We are well to our way to getting close to 20,000 views. So if anyone is interested in being a sponsor, a guest, a loyal listener, you can like and subscribe to the page. You can head over to balancevirtually.com, and you can also go to veronicaedwards.buzzsprout.com, where we had the audio version of the show for the first few seasons of the Veronica Edwards Show. So let's jump into today's show. I am super excited as we are joined by a powerful and deeply insightful guest who happens to be a coaching client of mine through Mountain BizWorks. She is someone who is doing transformative work in the emotional wellness space. Today, we have Meredith Rosenbluth, a somatic emotional health coach and educator who supports highly sensitive and neurodivergent teens and adults in understanding their nervous system and building real embodied resilience. Wow, Meredith, that was a mouthful. Welcome to the show, Meredith.
Yeah, total mouthful. Thank you. So excited to be here.
Yes. And this is Meredith's first time on a podcast. You're going to be amazing. I was telling her I love the background. Hopefully your cat comes in at some point that helps with the healing. So yes. So Meredith, I always have first time guests tell us your journey, who you are, where you're from, and what led you to the work that you're doing today.
Yeah. So my journey has been wildly meandering and unexpected throughout my life. It has taken a long time and many twists and turns to get to where I am. So I studied sociology and gender studies in undergrad and was working in museum education. I thought that I was going to start an arts education nonprofit. And then,
Ooh.
and yeah, I've been an educator my whole life, and I've worked with young people and people in my whole life has always been a through line. So I have a background in contemporary art. And while I was doing my master's in contemporary art theory, I got really into food out of nowhere and holistic nutrition, and did a total career change pivot after having a major existential crisis in my mid-20s, and ended up working as a marketing manager for a superfoods company in the Bay Area for many years. During that whole time, from my mid-20s to early 30s, I also went through a pretty significant dark night of the soul. I started therapy for the first time when I was 24. I began a spiritual practice, got really into astrology, but was really wrestling with a lot of heartache and purpose and major existential questions. And I have always been a deeply contemplative person. And I've also always been interested in psychology and relationships and all of these things. And there was a certain point while I was working at the superfoods company where I became very clear that writing marketing copy for superfoods is not why I was incarnate.
At all.
Yeah. And then in 2019 and 2020, I went through some pretty traumatic events and was experiencing some severe depression and panic attacks, and pretty extremely fell apart. And it was actually somatic work that helped me heal and that helped me come back to myself. And I did a deep dive into somatics, both in my own healing journey and also in my education, and moved to Asheville in 2021 and took the leap, left my job in 2023, late 23, to start this business. And so
Yes.
my path towards entrepreneurship has not ever been about being an entrepreneur. I'm not like a serial entrepreneur, visionary, someone who has lots of ideas about things. It's really been a path of connecting with my heart work and my purpose
Mm,
in this life, and understanding that the specific vision that I have and the collection of things that I want to offer can really only exist by me creating them. And that's how
mm.
I'm working for myself.
Meredith, I have so many you drop so many jewels on that. I'm like heart work, somatic work. Like there's so many things that is coming out that I want us to talk about some more. So before we even get into your specific services, I know many listeners, including myself, I never heard that word somatic before. It's new to me. So can you break that down? Like what is somatic healing? How is it different from traditional therapies or mental health support?
Yes, love this question. And it's a big question and important to understand. So somatics comes from the Greek root soma, which means body. So anytime you hear the word somatic anything, it pulls the body into the work. So
Mm,
somatic healing can look like any number of different things, but the way that I like to explain it is that it's a bottom up form of healing rather than a top down. So our culture is so obsessed with the mind, with rationality, with analysis, with making sense, understanding. And so much therapy takes that approach where we're talking about and analyzing our problems, which is valuable. I am a hyper analytical person.
yes.
And at the end of the day, we are all bodies. We are all made up of nervous systems that have specific imprints based on our histories and are working 24/7 to protect us. And oftentimes, our nervous systems get activated and direct our responses in ways that aren't an exact right match for the situation at hand.
Mhm.
So we might find ourselves engaging in or looping in patterns over and over across time that we can't figure out. Like, oh, I know rationally it doesn't make sense to be afraid of this thing, or, um, to be engaging in this thing that's not supportive to me. And yet here I am still doing it. Um, our bodies are wildly intelligent and they are always doing what they think they need to do to protect us.
Yes.
And somatic work specifically orients to the nervous system and to the body as a form of infinite intelligence, information, and wisdom.
Mm,
And so I help people connect with their bodies and begin to develop a relationship of attunement, discernment, and understanding where we're noticing physical sensations in the body. We're trying to understand what those sensations are communicating to us. And then we're engaging in really gentle movement based physical practices that help the nervous system rewire so we
mm.
show up differently in our lives.
Ooh, I'm so glad that you said that. I ran across maybe 2 years ago, I don't know if you're familiar with Dr. Russell Kennedy
Mm-mm.
on YouTube, and that he's called the anxiety doctor.
Mm,
And I suffer from anxiety like a lot of people do at times, mind just racing, thinking about all these things. If you're, there's just so much going on in the world. And he always talks about that connection to body. Like everybody wants to talk about the mind, but it's almost like we've gotten disassociated, like we're out of our body and we got to connect back. So I'm so glad that you said that because we get so caught up in our minds. Like I'm analytical like you, but it's something that triggered and he always says it goes back to a lot of times childhood trauma. And some people say, I didn't have childhood trauma. We've had trauma sometimes and we didn't even know we had it.
yeah, and the thing about childhood trauma is that it doesn't always look like a traumatic event. Childhood trauma can also show up as neglect. It can show
Yes.
up as the things that we needed and did not receive, which is as quote unquote little as being held and affirmed when we were in distress or
Hmm.
crying or having our needs be validated or our boundaries respected. Like all of these things can create trauma. And we could have a whole conversation about trauma that is not a rabbit hole we'll get down right now. The other
Yes.
that I wanted to speak to in response to what you said about dissociation. We live in a world that teaches us to leave our bodies, to be on screens, to turn to other
Mhm.
people's sources of wisdom, to value and valorize productivity above rest and play and creativity and anything else. And of course, that is in service to capitalism. It is also really good for the world we live in to be disembodied, because when we are connected to our bodies, we become connected to our power, and
Mm.
wildly threatening.
Ooh, say that again. When we are connected to our bodies, we are connected to the power.
Yeah, to our power, to
To
our
power.
our truth, to our intuition, which lives in the body, to our knowing, to our sovereignty, to our worth, and to our power.
Meredith, I need you on a TED Talk. I know somebody in Nashville. We got to make this happen. Okay, I could talk to you all day long. So let's talk about your services. Do you provide one-on-one coaching, groups, workshops? Are you virtual? Are you in person? We're here in Asheville. Young people, old people, tell us everything. And what is the name of your business?
Yeah. The name of my business is my name, Meredith
That's
Rosenbluth.
what I thought. And I was like, do I just say Meredith Rosenbluth,
Yeah.
owner of Meredith Rosenbluth?
Yeah. And I call myself a somatic emotional health coach and educator, because a lot of the work I do is also teaching, educating people how the nervous system works, why everything their systems are doing makes complete sense, how we
Uh-huh.
can begin to shift and make change in our lives. So yeah. And then in response to my services, yes, and all of the things. So
Yes, yes.
I support people one-on-one. I do one-on-one coaching to get at a lot of those deep sort of childhood wounds and the patterns that we're looped in, to help build understanding, resiliency in the nervous system. I am a wildly emotional and deep feeling person, and I love specifically working with highly sensitive people. I am also highly sensitive with neurodivergent people. Our systems and our needs are a little bit different, and I love holding space for deep feelers, and also for people who have felt afraid to feel, right? Because that's a
Yes.
protective mechanism that a lot of us have as well, not feeling safe to feel, not feeling safe in our bodies. So I do one-on-one coaching. I also hold group programs. So I have a group program for 11 to 14-year-old highly sensitive and neurodivergent kiddos that is called Sacred Circle. That's
Oh.
both educational and self-reflective, community building, these types of things. The next cohort of that is starting in March. And I also have a group program for adult women called Emotional Body that gets
Mm.
into a little bit more education about the nervous system and trauma, and also has somatic practices woven in. And that also starts in March. Both of those are in person in Asheville. And then I'm doing one-off workshops on my own, as well as at Asheville Community Yoga. So they are a great place. If you're local and haven't been there, huge shout out to
Yes.
them. Um,
Yes.
and then additionally, for local folks, I lead meditation at Asheville Community Yoga every Wednesday at 1. And I teach at the Y. I have a somatic class called Somatic Relief at the Reuter Y on Thursdays at 3, and Sundays, every other Sunday at 11:30. I'm
Wonderful.
launching virtual programming this year. So I'm going to be doing one-off workshops virtually. And I also write a newsletter. So if you like learning, if you like reading, I send out a newsletter with a weaving of personal narrative and somatic psychoeducation and spiritual musings every other Thursday.
Yes. Every
Yeah.
time I get your newsletter, I'm like, I gotta do my newsletter because yours looks so good. It motivates me. So I love all the things you're doing, and I'm proud of you this year that you're going to do virtual. Because as I mentioned earlier, I coach with Meredith, and I'm like, girl, virtual's on the scene, and I love that you're like, but my work is I need to touch and feel and see and all the things because that's the premise, the foundation of it. However, there's so many people that I think will say, hey, even if I can't physically be there, just being on this call is going to help me tremendously. I don't think you realize how much power, as we've been saying, that's going to be the key, the power that you have, even virtually. So I'm very proud of you.
Thank you. Also, I'm an astrologer and I give astrology readings as part of my business. This is
Oh,
little
Nice. Nice, nice, nice. And also as a coach, a business coach, I like that you're diversifying. You have groups, you have one-on-one, you have virtual, and then you also have and you're in a space that kind of goes complementary. I tell people, don't reinvent the wheel. The why has a huge following.
Mhm.
Um, even same thing with community Asheville yoga, and you just get on there, ask for their distribution list. Like, hey, can you make sure that I'm in your newsletters? And so that's a little free tip, folks listening, small business owners. Don't recreate the wheel, piggyback off of established, reputable, organizations in the community. And you're doing a good job about that. So, Meredith, I always like to give tips and different things, especially for small business owners. So, how can that somatic awareness and emotional integration support entrepreneurs and professionals to show up more powerfully? Like, what can they specifically do?
Yeah. Well, I think the how and the what are different questions. So I'll start with the how, which is I think there are a couple of ways that doing somatic work is actually quite vital. I mean, for everyone, but especially for entrepreneurs, business owners. There's two threads to that in my mind. One is that it allows us to develop self awareness to gain better understanding of our growth edges and then to meet them. So I'll give an example.
Mhm.
If you're building your business and you've just made a pitch and it felt kind of edgy, but you're like, I got this. I want to grow in this way. Um, and then it's accepted. And whether it comes with like a big uh, contract, a lot of money, you get this groundswell, and all of a sudden your system is like, oh my God, no, what if I can't, this is too much. I can't handle this, right? You want to grow, but then your nervous system at some deep level doesn't feel safe.
Right.
And so you were talking about anxiety earlier, and we get so caught up in our heads. The fascinating thing about our thoughts and the nervous system is that the state of our nervous system determines our thoughts. It is not the other way around.
Yep.
So you cannot actually talk your way out of anxiety. You cannot talk your way out of fear. All of these things, you need to physically move your way out of them, to move energy, to shift the state of your nervous system. And that is what will help you get into a more centered place.
Yes. I want to
And
add, Meredith, one thing that's helped me, and tell me if this is part of it, breath work.
yeah, oh yeah,
And
I'm a certified breathwork facilitator.
I thought it was like woo woo, like, what do you mean? But like, I breathe in, I count to 4, I exhale 6, or putting my hand
Yeah.
like on my chest, just like you said, to just feel like bring it back,
Yes.
smells, all that stuff. Ooh, I love it. Okay.
And those are the how.
Mhm.
Or the
Mhm.
what. The what, that's like what to
Mhm.
do.
Exactly.
Those are somatic practices. And breath work can be grounding. You can do those 4 counts in, hold for 4, 4 counts out, hold for 4. That can calm the nervous system. Breath work, I do a transformational breath practice that is a activated breath journey that can help dislodge stuck trauma from the body, and you have huge emotional releases, which is a different type of thing.
Mhm.
Uh, even though and part of the discernment with developing somatic awareness is noticing, what does my system need in this moment? Do I need to ground, or do I need to move? Because sometimes with anxiety, you need to like do a plank or push-ups, or you need to go on a run. You need
Yep.
to discharge that energy physically. Whereas other times you're like, I need to do legs up the wall. I need to put my hand on my heart and breathe really deeply.
Mhm.
And so it's developing the toolkit and also the relationship with your body where you understand the signals and then have the discernment to know what tool to use. And so, in a more self development growth kind of way, building a relationship with the sensations can help you see more deeply into your body and into your psyche. Like, oh, I have this limiting belief. I have this fear. I have this block, which is showing itself to me by this visceral reaction to a thing that just happened in my business. Or maybe
Mhm.
it's a client that is running you up a wall, or you are
Yes.
losing your patience, or, it's like everybody is a mirror.
Mhm.
Everybody's there. What is this
Mm.
sensation showing me about myself? And that's the question that the body can help you answer. So that's one part of the somatic work for entrepreneurs. The other piece is this everyday resourcing and capacity building, because we all know running your own business is exhausting, demanding, and overwhelming.
Yes.
And we live in a world that privileges and valorizes burnout.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, that is not what we are here to do. And it is also not sustainable. It is not what will make us effective in our work. And
Yes.
so there's also everyday resourcing that you can do where you can notice, okay, I'm really at my last thread right now, or I'm really overwhelmed. What tool can I lean on even for 5 minutes? I do legs up the wall in the middle of the day for truly for
I
help.
love it.
Yeah. And then you're like, okay, I'm more centered now. I can come back to the work more clear,
Mm-hmm.
energized, more renewed, whatever it is.
Yeah. I have a treadmill in my living room because I was like, I need to start walking more. Like you said, get that energy out. So I've already just
Mhm.
do a quick mile first thing in the morning, drink me some water, have me some tea, do all of that. And I'm like, ooh, I'm feeling better because I sit on my butt all day a lot of times for my job. And I realized that was just like killing my soul. And if I can't get outside, I'm like, I need to get some sunlight. I need
Yep.
to get moving. Absolutely right. So Meredith, we're already to the end of the show. But before we go, for anyone listening who's feeling disconnected, overwhelmed, or like they're carrying a lot of this weight, what's your message for them today and how can folks reach out to you for services?
Yeah. I would say above anything, what you are feeling is totally valid, makes complete sense, and you are not alone. We, especially people who feel deeply, it can be isolating and overwhelming. And again, the world that we live in does not create spaces for us to process, to be, to feel, to connect. Uh, so everything that you're feeling is valid. There is so much going on in the world to feel heartbroken about, fearful about, overwhelmed by all of these things. And the second piece is that we're not actually built to heal in a silo.
Mm,
So while there is a protective mechanism and an instinct in a lot of us to shut down, to dissociate, to retreat, healing happens when you let yourself be seen,
mm.
let yourself be held, and when you have reparative experiences with other safe people that help rewrite the scripts that your nervous system is holding.
Wow.
So
Wow.
reach out for support, whether that is, going to a yoga class, or whether it is connecting with a coach, a therapist, a healer of some kind, whether it is, reaching out to a friend that you trust to sit with you, maybe without even talking, just to sit and be together. Um, we're not built to do any of this alone.
I'm so glad you said that. And it doesn't mean that you have to have children or you have to be married. We have a community. And I think sometimes people even get in their head about that. And I'm like, no, I'm so glad that you said that, that you're not alone. And how do people get in contact with you for services?
Go to my website, meredithrosenbluth.com, meredithrosenbluth.com. All of my services are there. You can subscribe to my newsletter there. There's a tab at the menu on top, and info about all my upcoming workshops, programs, and one on one coaching.
Wonderful. And I'm also very interested in that 11 to 14 age group because my son will be 11
Oh, I
in May.
am actually.
Yes, my CJ, and he is my sensitive baby, and I love him. And it starts at a young age to build, that toolbox so
Yes.
that you're not feeling alone and you're not hiding feelings and all that. So Thank you, Meredith, so much for joining us today. Your work is so important, and I know this conversation is going to resonate with so many people. And again, meredithrosenbluth.com will have all the information below. I highly encourage everyone to subscribe to the newsletters, explore Meredith's programs and resources. And thank you to the V team and everybody listening to the Veronica Edwards Show. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube, and also check us out at veronicaedwards.buzzsprout.com, where you can never miss an episode. And until next time, stay balanced and financially savvy.